hearing the voice of the Lord. 4 key steps in hearing the voice of the Lord. It begins and ends with a posture of listening. So I'm going to break these down quickly. You receive a word. You understand a word. You know what is about to take place. And then fourth, how do you respond to that word? It all begins with a posture of listening. You receive a word from the Lord. So when you receive a word from the Lord, that doesn't mean you understand that word. The word came out of God's goodness from heaven through the Holy Spirit. So you have to seek heaven to understand the word. So you receive a word. And just because you receive a word doesn't mean you understand the word. There's a temptation to draw from your own resource or own understanding to interpret that word. And then you have to move from understanding to knowing. So just because you understand a word doesn't mean you know what's going to happen. That knowing comes from heaven. There's a temptation to draw that knowing from your own knowing, your own resource. So you receive a word from heaven. The understanding comes from heaven. The knowing comes from heaven. And just because you may know what is about to happen because you receive that knowing from heaven does not mean you know what to do when that event or situation finally emerges. The response also comes from heaven. Lord, what do I do? What is my assignment in that moment? So it starts with hearing, understanding, knowing, and doing. Or ear, mind, heart, and then hands and feet. And it all begins from a posture of listening, a posture of submission. A word has to be walked out. It begins with heaven and it ends with heaven. The entire processing and hearing and walking a word out all begins and ends with heaven. Father, thank you for speaking to us. Thank you for communicating. Father, help us to walk it out all the way. The word came from heaven. It's processed in our earth, and it ultimately comes forth as a response and obedience to heaven's revelation. My friend, if you receive a word, if you're giving a word, you got that word from heaven's resource. And ultimately, it is played out through the resource of heaven. Allow the Holy Spirit to take you through that process. You have to walk that process all the way through. Thank you for listening today at the Breath of God. And remember, His breath is our calling. Bye.